This is Ryan Marsteller, and you're listening to the Mostly Hunting Podcast with my buddies Kyle and Nevin.
This is another episode of Mostly Hunting with my daddy and his buddy Nevin, presented by Snow's Indoor Outfitters.
Hey, this is Eric Aiken. Here comes another episode of the Mostly Hunting Podcast with Kyle and Nevin.
Hello and welcome back to another exciting Mostly Hunting Podcast with me and Kyle.
Howdy.
Thanks guys for everything. You've been subscribing and liking our videos and our Spotify, or just our vocals, I guess.
Yeah.
But so thank you for participating. We're gonna try and put out some more good content for you guys here in the future. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I think we hit like 350 plays on Spotify and like 100 on Apple. And
Yeah, so it's doing fairly decent,
Yeah.
I think, for just starting out.
yeah, a couple of dum-dums on the podcast. But
yeah, so we did receive one request here after our last video from our man Weston.
Yep.
And he wants us to talk a little bit about our 2025 archery setups. So I think we're both running Hoyts.
Yep.
I don't like to use the word running, sorry.
Yeah.
We're both using Hoyts this year.
Yep, we'll both be hunting with Hoyts. I've never hunted with a Hoyt. I've never owned a Hoyt until this year.
I used an RX-7 last
Okay.
year. That was a good season for me. I ended up getting two nice bucks with it, one in Pennsylvania and one in Kansas.
Nice.
The Pennsylvania hunt, that was one of my unprepared hunts, I guess.
Those are the best.
You could say.
Yeah.
Yep, my favorites. I was in North Carolina helping with the hurricane down there for 18 days, so I was well into halfway through October before I got home. And
Yeah.
I got home and I saw my kids for a night, and then I took the next 2 days off and I archery hunted.
Attaboy.
See where my priorities are at.
Yeah,
I know where
they're
they
right in
should
line.
be, but
Yeah.
so I hunted actually 3 times. I think I hunted in the morning, an evening, and then the following morning I actually killed my buck. And
Nice.
he's a 120-inch 10-point.
Very respectable.
Not bad for PA.
Beautiful PA buck. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have a chance to get out and scout or hunt at all the entire season, and I ended up getting him. I think it was October 16th. It was a morning hunt, and I had hunted a couple other places, and I saw a deer, but nothing shootable, nothing legal actually, because
Yeah.
I was kind of in a frame of mind where we were leaving for Kansas November 6th, and it was October 16th, and I used my vacation quite a bit for Kansas, so
Yeah.
I don't really get a whole lot of time off for Pennsylvania. So I was kind of in that mindset where if a decent buck comes up to me, I'm probably going to take a shot if
Yeah.
he gives me one. So I rode my e-bike in. And I kind of just said, well, I'm just going to find a random tree in the middle of the woods, because I was extremely unprepared, but that's how the best hunts happen. And so I rode my e-bike back. I actually parked it under my dad's hunting shack in the middle of the woods, and I walked about 70 yards, and there was a four-wheeler trail there, and I looked up at a tree, and I said, yep, there's the one. So I climbed up in the tree, hung my saddle platform, and got in my saddle, and I hung there till it was daylight. And I looked over, and I seen a deer about 200 yards away. So I pulled my binoculars up, and I was like, oh, that's a nice buck.
Yeah.
And I find around the 15th and the 16th, they tend to start kind of responding to calling a little bit, just subtle stuff. And, I haven't done anything like real extreme. So I pulled the grunt tube out, and I grunted at him once, and I seen him look up, and he come right down the 4-wheeler trail, right
Nice.
to me. I was surprised as heck, So I'm sitting there waiting for him, and he like I said, I had to watch him the entire way down through the woods because he was on a wide open trail. But he come right up to me about 15 yards, and I was already drawn back. Well, the wind must have shifted, and he stopped dead in his tracks, and he's looking around and licking his lips and smelling, and all of a sudden he just started backing straight up away from me, and I'm like, I thought he had me at this point. Well, I'm like, all right, just turn. So he backed up for maybe 5 yards, and then he spun around, but he pulled a bad move, and he angled away from me instead of walking directly away from me. So he gave me a nice quartering away shot at 30 yards. So I settled the pin, and I shot, and there had to have been a branch that I did not see. And of course I hit it, and I hit him a little farther back than I wanted to. It wasn't horrible. It was just not where I wanted
ideal.
it to go. So ended up tracking him later. I found him. He was still alive. Was able to get another arrow in him. And so I got a really nice buck in Pennsylvania.
That's awesome.
With my RX-7 that I had. It was actually the first Hoyt that I've ever hunted with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I've never owned one. And I gave that one a try, and it was one of my top 5 bows, I would say.
Nice.
I won the Winter League with it.
You did? You won the Winter Video League? Yep.
Here it snows.
Yep.
So if you guys want to sign up for the Winter Video League.
Yep. Techno Hunt 2026. It'll be... Still got a little bit of time, but keep it in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Keep it for the...
Yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, it's awesome. I had a blast last year. A bunch of us guys that worked together.
Yeah. I hadn't shot it since I was... I don't know how old. Rich. It was... Indoor Outfitters was at the old shop.
Yeah.
Up the road there at the old roller skating rink. And my dad and brothers and I, we all shot it up there. And then I hadn't... just time and everything. I had never shot it. And then... I was talking about buying a bow shop and everything, and I asked you guys at work. I was like, "You guys want to shoot the video league?" And it's so packed that we almost didn't even get a spot to shoot.
Yeah.
I was like, "Man, I'm about to own this place, and I can't even hardly get a spot in the league."
Get a
Yeah.
place to shoot in it.
But, yep, yeah, that's a good time though.
How many people did you have last year?
140, I think, right around 140. Yeah,
that's a good turnout.
Yeah, there was some that didn't finish the whole thing,
right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
obligations come up. It happens.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, I had a blast. I will definitely be doing it again this year.
Yeah, we had the 8 o'clock spot on Tuesday, so it was perfect. But once Alex and I bought the place, it was like we shoot the thing, then we shut it down, and we just kind of hung out and had some fun.
Played around with some old bows.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah,
had a blast.
Yep.
So that's why I went with Hoyt again this year because I liked my RX-7 so much. I bypassed the RX-8. I didn't see much of a difference between that and the RX-7.
Yeah.
This year they completely changed everything.
Yeah.
They went to
the new cam.
The new cams. And
Go grab that bow,
the
by the way.
on there.
This RX-9 Ultra that he put together is freaking beautiful.
So
if you can hold it up closer to the camera.
Yeah.
Just kind of do a little spin around
here.
Yeah.
I'll try to get it.
You guys are going to have to go to YouTube now to watch this.
Yeah, this is on the YouTube channel where you can see. But that's the new RX-9 Ultra that I'll be using this year.
Yep. Dialed sight. You got the Go sticks, the pink strings.
Little mini stabilizer.
Yep.
It's a cute little thing. But pretty much everything come off of my RX-7. The quiver and the sight. I actually got a different rest because I just had the basic QAD Ultra rest, not the
Must have been a good
Integrate
salesman where you got that.
It was.
Yeah.
Very good salesman. He talked me into it.
I heard he's good at that.
No, but it's been an excellent shooting bow so far. I really like it. I went with 80-pound draw just because if as long as it and the way this bow draws, it's like it's 70 pounds.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like 80 at all. No,
it doesn't feel like 80 at all. And
all right, we're back. Slight technical difficulties. We're new. I don't know how to run computers, and somehow I'm doing a podcast. So
well, here we are. Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll
sorry.
get it figured out.
I think we'll get it figured out now. So we were just talking about your RX-9 Ultra
Yes.
and your arrows.
My beautiful RX-9.
Yes.
My arrows, I'm shooting Easton Axis 5mm. They're about, what do we weigh? About 452 grains.
Something like that, yeah.
This thing at the 80 pounds, and it's shooting them at about 314 feet per second, which that's cruising pretty
That's
good.
very impressive.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah. I like a heavier arrow. 450 is like, I'm not going to say the lowest that I want to go,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's where I like an arrow at least.
As far as whitetails are concerned,
Yeah.
that's pretty much where I like to
Especially
be.
zipping at 314 feet per second.
Yeah, I should be able to get some penetration with
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Your RX-9 shoots
Yeah.
a very
So
quick arrow too for
Yes, I am also shooting an RX-9 this year.
your little bitty draw length.
Yes. 20. I think I got it up to 28. I've always shot 27, but now I got a little more time to tinker and play with stuff, and I bumped it up to 28 this year, and it feels good.
Awesome.
But yeah, I really like that Hoyt. I can't say I've never liked Hoyt because I've never really shot them.
Yeah.
But Ford, Chevy, Hoyt, Matthews.
Yes.
I've always been a Matthews guy. Growing up, I had a Q2, bought it from Rich at the old location. Then I had an LX that I got from my cousin, actually from my brother. It was my cousin's, then my brother's, and then mine. I killed that buck up there on the wall with that LX. I love that bow.
Yeah. That's
And then-
a good old bow there.
My dad bought a Triax when those came out, and I shot it, and I'm not kidding. Like, I got the full draw, and I shot, and I was like, did it even go off? Like, I loved it.
I missed my Triax. That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite bows.
So almost immediately, I came down to Rich's and I bought a Triax, and I loved that bow. And then I switched to traditional, started shooting recurves, and I switched to hunting with those. So I sold that and bought a Prime Black 5 because we were shooting a spot league down here. So I wanted something a little bit longer axle to axle.
Right.
And so yeah, for hunting setups for the last 7 or 8 years, I've just been traditional. But yeah, this year, since we bought the bow shop, I figured I got to shoot a compound.
You kind of have to now.
Yeah. So I shot them all. I now have the Prime Form 34 that I'm shooting. Really like that bow. I'm shooting the Matthews Lift X. Really like that bow.
Yeah.
I shot an Elite for a while.
Elites are, they're a top of the line bow too.
Yeah, I've always
There's-
made fun of people who shoot Elite. You guys know who you are. I always called them the Dollar General bow. I never shot one. I just like making fun of them.
Yeah.
But I always knew there was something to them because Elite guys are like Matthews guys and Hoyt guys. Like, it's
Once
Elite.
they're there,
Yeah.
they love them.
Yes.
And they won't steer. They won't go to anything else.
Yep. So I started shooting the Carbon Eon. That was the first bow I started shooting when I bought the place, and I was very impressed. I like a good stiff back wall
Yes.
on a bow, and those Elites have a pretty nice back wall. The draw cycle's real nice, pretty dead in the hand. And then I started shooting the Hoyts. So my Hoyt rep was here, and I actually ordered an AX2 in Bottomland. And like 3 weeks later, I got a list of the stock bows that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this RX-9 on there. 65-pound bow. And it's the heck do they call it? The gray?
Oh, Tombstone.
Tombstone. It's the Tombstone riser. It's got wilderness limbs and purple strings.
Yeah.
And I seen
It's a beautiful bow.
Yeah.
I really like that bow.
There wasn't a picture or anything. It was just written out what bows they had in stock. So I got on the bow builder and I built it. And like Hoyt's bow builder, you build it on your phone and then you hit the button and it goes through your phone camera.
right.
it shows
so it'll
the
put
bow.
it right on the floor
Yeah.
in the shop.
It's awesome. So I
or
built
in your
that.
house, wherever you're
Yeah,
wherever
wherever.
you're at.
So I built that and I was like, oh man, I love this bow.
It is a nice
So I got a hold of Gus and I was like, listen, dude, can we cancel that AX2 and get this RX-9? He's like, yeah, we can do that. I love that bow.
It is beautiful.
Everything that I didn't love about Hoyt before, they fixed with this HBX Gen 4 cam. It's draw cycle's
smooth.
beautiful.
The back wall is rock solid.
Yeah.
It's just,
And
for me, it's perfect. I
Yeah.
haven't shot anything else because I liked my RX-7 so much. I honestly didn't plan on getting rid of it, but then I shot this Ultra, this RX-9 Ultra, and I was, it's just a little bit smoother than the RX-7 was. And
Yeah.
I kind of wanted, because my RX-7 wasn't an Ultra, so it was a shorter axle-to-axle bow, and I kind of wanted something a little longer because I'm not tall by any means, but I'm slightly above average. I think
You're a fairly large fella.
Yeah. So I feel like an Ultra would fit me better. That's why I got it, and
It does fit you better.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Its stature and your stature match each other a lot better.
Well, thank you. I
you're welcome.
appreciate that.
Should I go get my bow to show?
Yeah,
you showed your bow to the
I
camera?
would
I better go
definitely.
get it.
I mean, I showed mine off. I think it's only fair.
I feel
if
like
you
I kinda
show
have
yours
to.
off.
Okay, we're back again. More technical difficulties.
Always having technical difficulties.
We are in the process of showing my RX-9. This is it. Tombstone riser, Wilderness limbs, Wilderness 6-arrow quiver, dialed proof sight. These things are sweet.
It is a difference between mine and his. Is he has the dialed proof. Mine is the dialed Arxos, which is just a tad different. I think I like the proof more, but
Yeah, they just kind of fixed the couple, not problems,
just
complaints that people had about
just
it.
what people weren't happy
They fixed
about.
on the proof. I got purple strings. I know what you're thinking. Nevin's got pink. I got purple. It's cool. I'm shooting these
Trust us.
FMJ Max arrows. These super sweet wraps and veins that I built up on them.
Built
yeah.
custom at Snow's indoor
Snow's
outfit.
custom arrow builds. So yeah, these are our two setups for the year. I'm shooting, I believe these arrows are 520 grains, and it's shooting 265,
265.
28 inch, 65 pounds. And then I built some of those ultra arrows, super light, and they came out at like 380 grains, 295 feet per second.
That's very impressive.
Yeah,
for
and
that.
I mean 386. That's plenty for a deer.
Yeah, you could definitely kill a deer with a 386 grain arrow.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that.
I have this SOS Accu doinker on here. I made a little video on the.
Yeah, I remember the
Facebook?
little video. I was
Yeah.
kind of wondering how that was. I hadn't ever seen one of those before till then.
Yeah, it's pretty fancy. Go watch the Facebook video on it. Goes a little more in depth, but I'm trying to keep everything on this as small as I can. I didn't want a big
Yeah,
stabilizer.
low profile.
Yeah,
Keep
'Cause
it in the tree with you.
yeah, and I got this. Did I show you that grip?
No.
It's a carbon 3D printed grip from somebody on Etsy.
No kidding.
Feel that?
Wow, that's really nice.
It's nice. I like a small grip.
yeah.
Like on that Matthews, I put the side plates on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that just do the side plates on the
You said run
Matthews.
again.
Oh my gosh. Here we go. That's my podcast voice talking.
I mean, you're on a podcast for 3 episodes and you're saying run.
yeah.
It's okay. I say it sometimes too.
So how do you like the Trinity, the Hamsky rest here, the limb driven?
I like the limb driven.
I've never tried one.
I'm not against or for the limb driven or the cable driven.
Yeah, I think
I like
it's
them
just,
both.
Tomato type
Yeah.
deal.
I've heard people argue that there's less that can go wrong with the Hamskys internally.
It's a larger design.
They are very much larger. I don't know about. I've never looked into the weight. I don't know how much heavier they are.
Right, yeah. Because
I
there's
do
a
like-
lot of material there
Yes.
compared to the QAD.
Yeah, and this is the
It's-
Trinity. It's got a little more to it than some of the other ones. The Epsilon's a little bit more compact. But I found this. It's green. It matches the bow.
Yeah,
And
I saw that. It's
what do I
like
always say?
Exact match.
Archery's 90% looks.
It is a 92. I'd say 92% looks.
I'd go with 93.
93.
Yeah. The QAD, I do like the QAD because it keeps the arrow captured in a smaller area.
Right. They're less for movement.
Yes. I mean, the arrow's not going to come out of this by any means,
No.
but
No,
there's
it's
just
captured
more.
in there, but there is a lot more room for it to bounce around.
Yeah. So I like them both. But so yeah, that's our 2025.
And that's our setup. I
Archery
see we
setups.
both went with the Raptor peep.
Yes, the Hamsky Raptor peep.
Very nice peep sight.
I like them.
Yeah.
I had a
like
3/16 in mine. This is a quarter because a fella came in early and wanted a 3/16, and we were out. And I said, "Hey, I got one on my bow.
Perfect.
I'm a man for the people.
It worked out.
If the customer wants it, they can have it."
Yep. Even
I
if
don't-
you got to take it off your own bow.
Yep. So I got the 1/4 inch. I mean, it's a little bit bigger than that dialed sight at full draw, but it's not that big of a deal,
Nothing, yeah. Nothing you can't work with.
Right. So yeah,
Very nice bows, and
I kind of went into detail a little bit on my last year's archery setup. You did yours.
yes,
So last year I was still traditional. I've had 7 really, 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 really bad archery seasons. Not that I've wounded deer or had bad.
you just haven't had very many opportunities at deer.
I've been out a good amount, not as much as some other people. I kind of prioritize Alex and the kids over hunting. I used to not so much, but then it hit me one day. I was like, these kids aren't going to be around forever. And someday they're going to be out of the house. I'm going to have all the time I want to be in the woods.
And I know I'm going to lose my time also that I do put in right now because my kids are getting older and they're going to start playing sports and stuff like that here pretty soon. And I'm sure they're going to want to wrestle and play football. And it's going to cut into the hunting time a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where it started with me. The last 2 years, I've coached flag football for Nolan's teams. And then before last year, I coached wrestling, I think, 3 years maybe. But anyway, that really cuts into hunting time.
Oh,
yeah. Last year, so my recurve I primarily hunt with is a Stalker Stick Bows Wolverine FXT.
Very nice bow.
Thank you. I started out with a Bear Kodiak Hunter. My brother Doug got it from a garage sale for $3.
$3.
Yes, the woman was running the garage sale. Her husband must have been at work. And Doug shows up and says, "What do you want for this?" She said $3, and hopefully that guy isn't listening right now because I'm sure he's still upset about
he's
that.
probably still mad at her for selling it for $3.
Yep. So I'm a big knife guy.
Yeah.
I had a Grimsmo Norseman, which is a very high-end knife, and I found the Stalker Stick Bows 8 or 9 years ago probably on Instagram. And the dude wanted to trade.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I traded that Grimsmo Norseman for the Stalker Stick Bows. And I love
That was the Wolverine.
That's the Wolverine FXT.
Yeah.
55 pounds, 64 inch.
That was actually the bow that made me want to get into traditional archery.
Is that right?
It is, 100%. I followed you on Instagram. I knew who you were, you know, because we didn't grow up that far from one another. I think we mentioned that at some point.
Yeah.
I knew who you were, followed you on Instagram, and all of a sudden this beautiful bow is showing up on my Instagram feed, and I was like, man, I really need to get one of those.
Yeah.
So I think my first traditional bow was the Stalker Wolverine.
Yeah.
It was the one with the red string, red and yellow
It's
string.
like the standard grade
But
Wolverine.
it was just the low end
standard grade.
Wolverine. Yeah,
It's
we'll
not
call
low
it
end. There's
standard
South
grade.
Cox.
There's
There
no
is
such
low
thing
end
as a low end
Stalker
Stalker
stick bows.
stick bow.
Yes.
But if this is the standard grade Wolverine, not the FXT. I think it was like an XT
That sounds right.
or something
Maybe
like
an
that.
FX.
FX,
Something
like that.
Yeah.
But it was a very nice bow. But that started an addiction for me that got very expensive very quickly.
Anybody that talks to me about traditional archery, I say, listen, it's a deep, dark rabbit hole you're putting yourself down. You think compound archery is bad?
It's traditional, so much worse.
Yeah, and it's way more simple.
Yeah,
There's way less that's going on.
except for tuning the arrows to the bow. They're pretty finicky as far as that goes. Like, you can't just pick up any old arrow out of the corner of your house, throw it in a recurve, and expect it to shoot good.
Right.
It just doesn't quite work that way.
So not only do you, like, where you got to first start is getting your release and everything down.
Yes.
You got to get your form, your draw, your anchor point, and your release down, and then you can start messing with your arrows. You got a bear shaft tune. What I do is I take a bear shaft arrow, I stand like 5-8 feet from the target, something like that, and you hold the bow straight up and down, and wherever the tail's kicking, I start cutting off the back of the arrow, 1/4 inch at a time.
Yep.
That's
what I ended up doing.
Put electrical tape on the back of the arrow to simulate the weight of the feathers.
fletchings.
Yes. Then I just cut 1/4 inch at a time until you're straight in on there, and then the rest of the arrow just cut off the front.
Yep. And then throw your feather fletchings on. Don't use regular ones.
Yeah. AAE has the what do they call those?
They're cut.
Well, they make some super flexible rubber vanes. Them and Aaron Snyder got together and made them quite a few years ago.
Okay, yeah,
tried
they're
'em.
just super soft.
Yeah, I tried them. I didn't like them.
I've never tried anything like that. I've always done the flat feathers.
Traditional bow should be shot with feathers.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
They're trying to modernize them, and I think there's, if you're gonna shoot a traditional bow, then I feel like you're going for the traditional look and feel. So
yeah, traditional is very much more simple, but way more difficult.
oh yeah, and you can get, like you said, it is a rabbit hole that you never find the bottom of. Because I've had, I don't know, 7 different traditional bows now, and I finally found my absolute favorite. I love stalker stick bows. I've had 3 of them.
Your Apex, I have now.
Yeah, you
That
have the
thing, that's my
Apex
good
now.
Sunday
That
church bow.
is, yeah, that is a nice bow. I got a heck of a deal on that, and I got a bunch of stuff with it. The guy was super cool that I bought it from, and I love that bow. I just wanted something different, so I started selling stuff, buying other stuff, and I even have an Amazon bow that actually shoots
Very
fairly
well.
decent.
Yeah.
So I was happy with that. But what I ended up with was a Bushman Spartan, and it is the most beautiful piece of art I've ever
super
seen in
sexy
my
bow.
life.
Yes.
And it shoots phenomenal.
Yes, I freaking love that bow.
The
9-arrow quiver
yes
that
I
matches
have
the color. Oh my
I
god.
can't even remember who makes that quiver.
I don't either.
I'm gonna have to look that up, and I'll
Yeah.
let you guys know at some point. But it is just an absolute beautiful. We just lost the video again.
All right, guys, we lost the video. We're just gonna go without it. I'm already clipping like 3 different videos together right now.
Yeah, it's starting to become a
Yeah,
pain.
it's a whole thing.
But yeah, so the Bushman,
Yes.
beautiful bow.
Bushman Spartan, right?
Yes,
Yes, it's green.
green and black. It has a little bit of tan on the outside of the limbs, and the limbs are a carbon print.
Yeah,
Well, they are actually carbon fiber with, I believe, it's bamboo in between.
and that's got some like overlay on the ends of the limbs,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
That makes
And-
it look freaking awesome.
Yeah, he does an absolute wonderful job. Every bow that he makes is beautiful,
Yeah.
and it shoots phenomenally.
I will have one someday.
It's awesome. They are quite pricey,
Yeah.
but they're worth every penny if that's what you're into.
So I guess we talked about these arrow setups that we're shooting out of these bows. My stalker that I hunt with, I'm shooting Full Metal Jacket Autumn Orange arrows, 340 spine. They're almost full length. I cut maybe an inch and a half off to get them to tune right. And 4 Fletch feathers, 580 grains at a blistering 152 feet per second.
That is something
Yeah.
right there. It's gonna kill a deer
Yeah.
if it's put in the right spot.
Yep. It's going to hit them like a ton of bricks.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a hefty arrow coming at him at a blistering
Yep.
speed. My arrows for my traditional setup, I think they're 528 grain day 6.
Oh, I love day 6 arrows.
Yeah, day 6 makes some very nice things.
Yep.
I mean, their arrows are top notch. The broadheads, everything is top notch from day 6. The arrows, they're just under full length. I think I had them cut, maybe an inch or 2 off. I can't exactly remember.
Yeah.
But I had them custom built by a guy, Gary D. Hall.
Gary D. Hall.
I believe his name on
Yep.
Facebook, and he does he does the feather splicing and the cresting, and just everything. It came out perfect.
Yes, they match that bow. They're freaking beautiful. That's the other thing with traditional archery. We got to make stuff match on these compound bows.
Yes,
It's even worse.
it's even worse with
Yes.
the traditional setups. They are. I mean, it's the same.
Yep.
It's a
And
rabbit hole.
that's a super curve bow, right?
Yes.
Your Spartan?
Yes.
Yeah, so that thing flings an arrow.
Yeah, it's still quiet, like a recurve should be, and most are. But it's a little faster than a traditional recurve because I'm only shooting, I believe it's 47 pounds at 28 inches. So I believe my draw length on a recurve is about 29 and a half, somewhere around there. So I'm only shooting like 49 pounds, 50 pounds with that, and it flings them.
Yeah.
It's like a low poundage compound.
Yeah. We actually, was it 2 years ago now that we went and shot at Oswald's with our compound buddies?
Yes.
And
we won.
The two of us spanked them. We spanked those compound boys, man.
I mean, we got to shoot from a slightly closer.
We were a little bit closer. They really make it out like we were standing on top of the target.
Yeah, they wanted to make it sound like we were 10 feet away.
They were just, they're sore losers.
That's all it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
we
love
beat
the
them
guys,
by quite a bit. But
I mean, it was... I wouldn't have blamed some of those guys for selling their bows.
No,
as bad as we beat
absolutely
them.
not.
But
I would have just quit hunting altogether.
yeah, I didn't say it.
It was a lot of fun, though.
It was a lot
We had
of fun.
blast.
Probably the most fun shoot we did was the Meadville Field Archers, a turkey shoot.
Oh my gosh!
Was that 3 years ago now?
I'll never forget that.
No, it was miserable.
It was.
It was about
pouring
32.7 degrees, just warm enough to not snow.
right before spring turkey
Yes,
season,
and it
so-
was a torrential downpour the
Yes.
entire time.
I was soaked.
Yeah.
Absolutely soaked and freezing.
Yep.
And we had our recurves for that.
We had
too.
our recurves. Everybody else, had their compounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Dustin take his?
I believe Dustin had his compound.
Okay, I can't remember. I think we were just the only two with.
Yeah.
He's gonna be mad if he did have his recurve and we can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he had his
Remember when he was gonna
compound.
buy that Tolkien and then cancel it?
Wonder who got his build spot.
I don't know, man.
I hope he
Wish it was
listens
me.
to this.
Me too. We love you, Dustin. But yeah, that Meadville Field, and then we went to Fat Boys afterwards to get
Yes.
some lunch,
Yeah.
and they had the AC like blaring in that place.
Yeah, we're
None of us had
soaking wet, and
sweatshirts.
it's like
we were
30.
soaked. Took forever to get our food. Not their fault. It was
Not, it was busy that morning.
Oh my
that
gosh, it
afternoon,
was-
and it was freezing in there.
Mhm. Fun night, fun day though.
Yeah, I had a really good time. Every time we get together to shoot at those 3D shoots,
Yeah,
it's just,
doesn't happen often, but it's always a good time.
yes, doesn't take up a whole lot of a Sunday or Saturday. A few
Yeah.
hours here and there, and
Take a raspberry tea. Yeah.
I thought I was at work. The only time I hung out with you guys is when I was when we were at work. So it's like,
Oh, that was funny. We sat down to get some lunch at the one bar after a shoot, and Devin goes, "I'll take a raspberry tea." Wait a minute.
I was like, no, give me a Bush Light, the biggest one you got.
Yeah, it was good times. So what's next? We covered 24, 25 setups.
Yeah, we got into our traditional setups
Traditional
even a little
setups?
bit with this one. And,
I still haven't 100% decided what I'm taking out this year.
I'm gonna play it by ear.
Mm-hmm.
I like for early season. I tend to hunt more with my traditional setup, just because I know I'm less apt after the first week to see a big buck at 20 yards or less.
Yeah.
Like the first week is probably your best chance in early season to if you have one patterned. Yeah.
Yes. Air quotes there.
Yeah, air quotes, patterned. I know, some people actually can kind of bet that that buck will be out in that field at a certain point in
Yeah.
time, but I can't seem to ever get that lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I do get lucky, but it's usually not.
That's all
till
hunting is. It's
later
luck,
on.
man. I don't
it's
care what
100
anybody says.
It's 97% luck, in the 3% skill that you need is to make the shot.
Yeah.
When you get lucky enough to have a deer walk by you.
There's
been
18
lucky.
million different ways a deer can walk through the woods.
Yep,
I'll die on this hill.
absolutely.
It's luck, man.
Yes, it's luck.
You may have
I
a good
firmly-
idea where they're going to be.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
you can better your luck by
Yeah.
being in a better spot, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's luck if that deer decides to walk within bow range of you.
Yep.
Rifle season, I find it a little bit different. But we won't get into that
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
But anybody that says that they can, that deer's going to be right here at this time. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Don't
If
even
you're-
get me started on people aging deer
Oh my God.
on the hoof.
On the hoof aging. But because I'm taller and heavier than you are,
Yeah.
does that mean you are older than me?
No, you wear a size 13 shoe. I wear a size 7. I'm
Yeah,
older
we're
than
the
you.
same species.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're older than I am. I just happen to be bigger framed with a bigger shoe size.
Yeah. Your hands are bigger. Your feet are bigger. I got a bigger head.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
genetics.
Yep.
It's not. It has nothing to do with our age.
Yeah, but maybe that's a discussion for another time. Probably people
you
are
can
probably
try
gonna
that with deer, I guess.
pull a tooth out and then age it. And
Yeah.
get back to me.
Yeah, exactly. I saw. I could guess.
You can get a general.
general idea.
Guess.
It just depends on. Once you get past a certain point, I don't think that there's any hope for getting an accurate age unless you have trail camera pictures
Yeah,
that you
solid
know
evidence
is
Yes.
that deer 100% from a certain age that you think he
a
is.
very unique.
But you
point
need
or
it
something.
every
Yeah.
year. Like, okay, I've had trail cam pictures of him since he was, I think, 2.5. Because a 2.5-year-old deer is, you know. But from that point on, and I've had pictures of him for 5 years. So I'm guessing he's 6 or 7.
Yeah,
But, he's a 7-year-old
that's a
deer.
4.5-year-old buck.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of.
He's an old warrior going downhill.
Old warrior going downhill. The
Yep.
old Pennsylvania 11 point.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
So-
like my brother shot a buck here with his rifle. I think it was 2015. It was a 157-inch 13 point, which is an absolute giant deer.
That's a stud.
In Pennsylvania. Thing had mass, time length, everything. I mean, it was just a giant. And, people had seen it and they were, throwing guesses at age on this thing. Well, taxidermist ends up actually getting it at 8.5 years old.
Wow.
Somehow, some way, it was 8.5 years old. And, people were like, oh, that's 5-year-old.
Yeah.
Okay. if that's what you think. I don't even really try anymore.
Yeah.
I'll throw out, I don't know. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not an
It's a mature
ager.
buck.
Yeah.
Mature
It's
buck.
Here's what I do when a deer's walking through the woods to me. I'm either thinking, I'm going to shoot him if he comes close enough, or I'm not going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
It's all in what you want. You don't have to follow the trends or and around here there's 100-acre plots of land, right? So just the 100 acres that I hunt on, there's me, my nephew, my brother every once in a while, archery hunting. Rifle season, it's usually my brother and my dad and my nephew. So there's 3 people within 100 acres there. Neighbors next door, they got 5 or 6 people that hunt 20 acres.
Yeah.
Right next door. There is and then on the other side of that, there's 300 acres that 2 people hunt.
Yeah.
And the deer from down there end up the hill on the 20 acres that 5 people hunt.
Exactly.
Or there's property across the road. There's 200 acres that 25 people hunt. It's basic, it's insane. But those deer, they don't know. They're down here on this 300 acres that, and yeah, we'd like to let these deer go and try to get them to get big. But here's the thing, they don't stay in one spot.
Yeah, no,
They're-
not at all.
The first day of rifle season, the chances of them ending up across the road where there's 30 people is pretty good. They don't know that there's nobody hunting down there and there's people hunting
No.
over here. They're trying to manage deer with these little plots of land. It just doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen unless everybody's on the same page. And this is Pennsylvania, and let's just face it, nobody's on the same page.
No. Nope.
It's
I'm
not
guilty
going to
of it.
happen.
If I see a buck come through the woods, I'm like, is it got 3 up top?
Yeah. Am I
And I'm
going to be
gonna try to
happy
kill
with
it.
this? Because I'm gonna shoot it.
Yeah. I am not a trophy hunter. I have not killed enough big bucks in my life to want to be a trophy hunter. I like having a deer.
Yeah, I just like shooting.
I get a freaking rush. I don't care how big it is, man.
Oh, yeah.
My heart gets going. I almost shake out of the stand.
Absolutely.
Could be a 12-inch 8-point, you know? Man.
That's what one year I went to Kansas and I hadn't killed a buck in Pennsylvania yet with my bow.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I had a pretty good streak going up into this point with just my bow.
Yeah.
And now I'm headed to Kansas. I don't know if I'm going to shoot a deer when I get back from Kansas.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous, you know. And we had a foot of snow on the ground when I got back. And I got back at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I remember this.
I
yeah.
had Dustin drop me off at my brother's house.
Yeah, I think I was working a storm and you texted your home and you're like, then you sent a picture or something in the stand. I'm like, wait, I just got back from Kansas.
Yeah, I literally had Dustin drop me off in my brother's driveway, and I ran to my tree stand. I didn't go home, and
Yeah.
I went right to my tree stand because I was a nervous wreck,
Yeah.
and I never saw a deer that morning. I thought it was going to be a really good morning because there was snow on the ground, and it was, you know, should have been peak rut
Yeah.
or what they call it around here, but. Yeah, I never even saw a deer. But that night I went out and I shot an 8-point that was about 12 inches wide, and you could have swore that deer was 160 inches.
Mhm.
I was so happy
Yeah.
to be done. I'm like, I am not carrying a rifle this year. This is awesome.
Yeah.
I am super happy with this.
Absolutely.
And it's all in what you want, you know. I try to shoot a nicer deer, but in the heat of the moment, if my heart starts pumping, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Mhm.
You know? I'll try to be a little picky, but that's it.
Yeah. And I don't care if somebody wants to be picky. I'm not going to judge nobody for,
No, it's all
passing up
in
a-
like your past and
Absolutely, yeah.
what you've harvested before in your life, and and it's just if you're happy or not. That's all it is to it.
I might judge you a little bit because I'd be like, seriously, you pass up an 18-inch 8-point? What are you, crazy?
I would never pass up
Yeah.
an 18-inch
Good
8-point.
Lord. So, yeah, we're at about 43 minutes now.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yep.
we probably ought to... I think we should probably mention that, you know, we might have a couple sponsors
Yeah,
here
we got some
pretty
sponsors
soon.
showing up.
Which is phenomenal.
It's
I'm
amazing.
super happy about
Yes.
it. Those are in the works, and when they come through, we'll have more to explain and
Yep.
more on that. And
Yeah, it's like people and stuff that are reaching out to us. It's like, hey, you think about linking up here? It's like, yeah, man.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's have a partnership, and we'll
Yeah.
try to benefit
Promote
off
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it works out, and we're super excited to see what the future holds
Yeah.
for this.
It's super exciting. We're having a lot of fun here.
Yeah, we get to go off on rants, and
Yeah.
hopefully you guys like listening to it, I guess.
If you don't like it, don't take it personal. We're just having fun here.
Yeah, we're just kind of spitballing
It's our
and seeing
opinions.
where it
If
goes.
you got your own opinions, you know,
Yeah, we
shoot
can-
us an email. We'll discuss it.
Yeah, if
Yep.
you want to argue,
Yeah.
I'll argue with you a little
Yeah.
bit. Doesn't mean I'm not going to shake your hand at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But
We're all hunters. We're all on the same team. Doesn't matter if
Exactly.
you shoot big bucks or you shoot spikes, you shoot a Hoyt, a Matthews. We're hunters. We're all on the same
hunters.
team. Rifle hunter, crossbow hunter, anything.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely. I feel the same way.
Yep. Whatever keeps you in the woods and keeps you happy.
Yep.
So yeah, thanks everybody.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. Sorry about the video.
Yeah, we're going to try to get that right next time.
Yeah. As I said earlier, I'm not a computer guy, but I'm doing my best.
We'll try and get through it.
Yep.
And I think we'll get it figured
We'll
out.
get all the bugs worked out. We'll do it.
This is only episode 3.
Yeah.
But thanks a lot for listening.
Yeah.
And tune in next week for our next, hopefully 45-minute segment.
Yeah. All right.
See what kind of rant we go on.
That's the end of the Mostly Hunting Podcast, episode 3.
Thank you.